we go. Rackers will kick it. Maurice Hicks is waiting for it. And he'll take an knee. Here comes the Minnesota offense, checking in at number 18 in the league. In total offense, rushing offense, very good because of Adrian Peterson. The passing offense, not all that great. But again, it's Tavares Jackson, Troy, making the start. He started the first two games not so hot. They started 0-2, and then Gus Frerotte went 8-3.
Yeah, and as I said to start the game, I would have to believe that for Tavares Jackson, he's a lot more comfortable. You know, last week coming off the bench, not getting a lot of work during the week in practice as the backup, but this week he got all the snaps.
They don't start with Adrian Peterson. They air it out down the sideline, and the pass is broken up. Bernard Berry and the intended receiver, and Rod Hood was there step for step.
You know, pretty interesting in talking with Brad Childress that, you know, he's familiar with Roderick Hood because of the time that they were at Philadelphia together. Roderick Hood was a corner for the Philadelphia Eagles for a time, and he knew that he was maybe susceptible to the deep ball, and I thought that they may work into that, but they start the game with it.
He also said they're going to run at him on sweeps and see if Roderick will stick his nose in there and make a tackle on this guy. The best in the game, Adrian Peterson, gains 8. He leads the league in rushing yardage at over 1,400 yards. And what a year and a half, really year plus run it's been for Adrian Peterson. Here is the Arizona defense. There are the linebackers, and then the secondary against the pass. This defense is ranked 19th in the NFL.
This defense is going to get a lot of what they just saw. Number 28, Adrian Peterson. It's an undersized defensive front, and you can expect them to do a lot of moving to try to overcome that.
3rd down and 2, and the handoff is to Peterson. And it's enough for a 1st down. You could see the line judge make the call as he came in from the side. And I mean, plenty's been said about this guy, but he's closing in on 3,000 yards in his first 2 years in the NFL, and he will join a short list of players to do that.
I was just commenting to someone before the game that I sure hope he stays healthy. You hope everybody does, but especially Adrian Peterson, because he's going to have one heck of a career if he can stay healthy.
Play is made by Dansby after a gain of 4. Another run by Peterson. And this is a Minnesota team, Troy, that does what every coach wears us out with week in and week out. They can run the ball and they can stop the run. They have the fundamentals on this team to maybe put a nice run together.
Well, they do, but I still believe that, you know, yes, it's nice to be able to run the football. Certainly has been great for them defensively to stop the run, but at the quarterback position, you've got to then be able to take advantages of some of the big throws down the field.
Jackson in trouble, and down he goes in the arms of Antonio Smith. And I guess they're big arms.
Yeah, Antonio Smith, he's able to get pressure up inside, and this is really something about this defense that they've struggled with here in recent weeks. They've not done a good job of getting pressure on the quarterback, and Tavares Jackson starts to deliver it, but then he's got a hand in his face, and before he can bring it down and then run, which is something he likes to do. If his first receiver's not there, he's going to look to tuck it. Antonio Smith was there to make the sack.
3rd down and 11. Flushed out of the pocket. Jackson in trouble. Gets away and then hops out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 4th down, and a good start for this Arizona defense, and not so hot for the Minnesota offensive line or Tavares Jackson.
Well, good job there really by the Arizona defense, because you know, you come into this week and you're expecting Gus Frerotte, and as the week progresses, then you realize that Tavares Jackson is going to be the quarterback, and that changes then what you're going to do defensively. He all of a sudden has the running threat, and they were able to control that on the first possession.
Kluwe hits a line drive, and Breston on the return got across the 35 and was drilled at the 37 by Henderson. A return of 6 yards. Now Jackson will watch with the rest of us. No score. Well, how is this Arizona offense going to start? The number 2 passing attack in the NFL. The guy having maybe the best year quarterback in the NFL, Kurt Warner. Out of the shotgun, quick throw. That's Anquan Boldin. Bounces off Sharper, dragged down by Greenway, a gain of only 2.
The Cardinals come right out. They go with an empty set, try to see what exactly Minnesota was going to do, and then they motion J.J. Arrington into the backfield to help out. And this no huddle that they're going with right now is something they haven't shown a lot here over the last 4 games.
2nd and 8. Warner up the seam, and that pass was tipped by Greenway, who's having an outstanding year at linebacker for the Vikings.
Yeah, he really is, Joe, and I know that the Pro Bowl voting is going to be coming out next week, and he's one of those guys. I don't know if he's going to make it, but he certainly has had a year that's worthy of going over to Hawaii. You know, a lot of attention, doing a great job there in pass coverage, but he's one of the reasons why this team does so well in run support as well. I know that those 2 inside Williams boys get a lot of the attention, but Chad Greenway is a terrific player.
Third down and 8. Warner throws, and the pass is dropped by Boldin. Perfect throw, and Anquan Boldin could not haul it in. And a quick 3 and out by the Cardinal offense.
Boldin in there on the slot, and he's got man-to-man coverage there and runs a good route, and Kurt Warner with good protection is able to lay it to the outside. That's not something you see very often from Anquan Boldin.
Ben Graham, 2nd week as the Cardinals punter. Right into the action with Bernard Berrian waiting deep. Should have a chance to run a little bit. How about a lot of bit? How about down the sideline? How about gone? How about touchdown Minnesota?
I'll tell you what, they got him to the sideline, which is where you want him. And then you're going to see Ben Graham, the punter, come over, and he was in a position to just get him out of bounds, but he was lazy. He just expected then Bernard Berrian to be able to cut back. And Bernard Berrian gave him 1 step to the inside and was able to stay up the sideline.
Since Mewelde Moore did it in October of '06. For a team that's given up 4 punt returns for a touchdown, they finally get one of their own, and now a penalty flag flies on the return of J.J. Arrington. And we give you another look, and clearly Berrian stayed inbounds the entire way down the sideline, came close.
Return. Holding. Number 91 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So a hold against Arizona pushes them back deeper in their own territory. It was the penalty to take it back inside the 20 to the 17. Larry Fitzgerald watching on the big screen. Berrian came close. He stayed in. 7-zip. It will be a lot of talk during the course of the day with regard to the playoff picture as we go along here in Arizona. Bernard Berrian is all smiles, and why not? 3rd longest punt return for a touchdown in Vikings history, 82 yards, and it's 7-0. And Tavares Jackson didn't have to do anything but stand on the sideline and watch it happen. First run of the day, and it's J.J. Arrington over the left side. Cuts upfield. and takes it to the 25. Let's go down to the field. Here's Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, Jared Allen continues to show us some pretty amazing recuperative powers. He's playing today with what he described to me as a sprained MCL. He's also doing something he's never done before, and that is play with a brace on his knee. Defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, while he was sweating bullets all week about Allen's availability, nobody in this building is happier than he is right now to have his sack leader on the field.
All right, thanks. Right now, standing on the sideline and watching on second down. The pass is complete to Arrington. Plenty of room to run. Out to the 46. A 21-yard catch and run by J.J. Arrington.
You know, last week they put J.J. Arrington in the game early. They ran a screen play to him. They started the game off with a reverse, and it seems like every time this guy gets the ball, he makes things happen. You know, here he is playing a lot early in this one. And what they're trying to do, the Cardinals that is they're trying to get these inside guys for the Vikings, Pat and Kevin Williams in here in the middle, trying to tire them out a little bit. That's why they're going to this no huddle. That wears out a defense, get them running sideline to sideline, and then maybe something will start to give in the running game as this game unfolds.
Blitz coming from Minnesota, and that one's nearly picked by Chad Greenway. Tipped one earlier, and this one was almost intercepted. He does not have an interception on the year, and Troy, the last couple of plays have happened with Jared Allen on the bench.
Yeah, you see Chad Greenway, he gets up in the line of scrimmage, and then as a quarterback you're expecting him to maybe continue to hug that line, if not continue to blitz. Instead, Chad Greenway drops off into coverage, and just a guy that Kurt Warner did not see.
2nd and 10. Jared Allen back out there. Drops back. This one's tipped and intercepted. Cedric Griffin. It went off the hand of Breaston into the arms of Griffin, who gets his first interception of the year.
They're trying to run a wide receiver screen here, and a ball that really just got away from Kurt Warner, and great job of Cedric Griffin locating the ball once it went up in the air. You see what he has to do in order to keep his eyes on the football and still make a play. You know, did he have possession? It looked to me like he did.
Yeah, me too. It was just a terrific play. With one of his arms pinned against his body, Griffin with a right-handed interception.
Hold him, hold him.
And now it looks like Ken Wisenhunt is going to challenge the call. He is. I'm with you. I thought it looked like he secured it, had his arm under the ball when he went to the ground. And the ball does seem to move a little.
Arizona has challenged that ruling.
Let's take a look at it from this side. We'll get the call when we come back. Did he have it? The call on the field is interception. Well, we have looked at it a number of times up here in the booth. There's no doubt the ball moves. The question is, was his arm under it? Did he have enough possession of the ball? Did he hold it against his body? I still maintain that that's an interception and not enough to overturn the call on the field, and we'll have to wait and see. And it's either a 1st and 10 for Minnesota at the Arizona 47, or 2nd and 10 for the Cardinals at their own 46. And it could very well be the 13th interception of the season for Kurt Warner to go with his 25
After review,
touchdowns.
The defender had the ball in his possession, maintained control of the ball throughout the process of making the interception. Therefore, it is an interception. 1st down, Minnesota. Arizona is charged with their first team timeout.
So the interception stands. And coming into today, the last 4 games, Kurt Warner had thrown 6 interceptions, lost 2 fumbles. Now add another pick. Peterson in motion. They fake a reverse to him and hand it to Chester Taylor. He was wrestled down by Gerald Hayes. So now we try to dive into this playoff picture, which certainly can get confusing. Here are the divisional leaders in the NFC. Arizona's already clinched their division, as have the Giants. Then the wild card leaders Atlanta 9-5. Atlanta won today over Tampa Bay, and then Dallas. Dallas plays tonight and definitely in the hunt. Tampa Bay, Philadelphia in the picture, certainly Chicago. In the NFC North alone. Here's Chester Taylor. And he lunges. Comes up a little bit short of first down yardage, it appears. A gain of 7. Dansby on the tackle. And it will be 3rd and short.
You talk about the playoff picture, Joe, and all of those teams that are not divisional leaders all pulling for the Giants in the ball game tonight, because if Dallas goes out and loses, it brings a whole lot of people right back into the middle of it.
Absolutely. Then Dallas is on the outside looking in. Handoff is to Jeff Dugan, the fullback, and he picks up 2 and a first down. Early game headliners around the NFL. Peyton Manning. The Colts now have won 7 straight, if you haven't paid attention, and they are in great position to make the playoffs yet again in the AFC. Michael Turner, 152 yards for Atlanta in their overtime win, and then Andre Johnson, he continues to have a huge season with over 200 yards receiving.
Yeah, and Peyton Manning, being mentioned by a lot of people as a potential league MVP.
Here is Peterson dancing around and picking up half a yard.
And we're probably watching a couple of guys in this game that also should be drawing some consideration for league MVP. That guy right there, Adrian Peterson, along with Kurt Warner, although Kurt is off to a tough start here in this ball game. But I say Peyton Manning because for those that haven't really closely followed the Indianapolis Colts, based on the way that Peyton Manning started the year and the way the Colts started the year, I mean, he has put together quite a run here and certainly is worthy of consideration.
They started 3-4. Now they've won 7 straight, and penalty flags fly. A false start. Ron Winters, the ref.
False start. Offense number 83. The 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
That's Jeff Dugan. We talked to Adrian Wilson, who is the longest tenured Arizona Cardinal, who said pride kept him here because he felt like if he left as a free agent, he would leave a job unfinished. And he said, in anticipation of a day facing Adrian Peterson, he runs like somebody stole his signing bonus money. And those two will be banging bodies all day. Jackson pulls it back twice, and then it's incomplete for Adrian Peterson. Gerald Hayes was on his back.
We had a chance to visit with Brad Childress, and when he was talking about the job that Tavares Jackson did coming off the bench last week, he talked about how, I saw a little bit more bounce in his step, a little more decisive on where he was going with the football, things that he had not shown in those first 2 games. But I really think Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, did a great job of protecting Tavares Jackson, having him throw balls outside the numbers, a lot of the naked boots, things that are pretty easy to throw if you haven't gotten a lot of work during the week.
3rd down and 14. Jackson airs it out down the sideline. Berrien. What a throw. What a catch. Touchdown, Vikings. Berrien has 2 touchdowns and pretty good coverage, Troy, by Roderick Hood.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they opened up the game with a shot on Roderick Hood. They come back to it again here. And you called it. I mean, it wasn't like Bernard Berrien with great speed ran right by Roderick Hood. He saw it the entire way. He anticipated that they would come after him in this game. Just a perfectly thrown ball by Jackson.
Ziggy Wilf gave Bernard Berrien $16 million guaranteed to leave the Bears and come to Minnesota. That trip north worth it right now for the Vikings. Berrien has 2 touchdowns in the game. 14-0 visitors. Cedric Griffin with the interception, then Bernard Berrien 41 yards on a beautiful throw from Tavares Jackson. And now Arizona will get it back, 3rd possession. J.J. Arrington on the return, and he is brought down. A good play was made by Tyrell Johnson.
You go back and take a look at the touchdown throw. Tavares Jackson, you're going to see he knew exactly what he had because they're so worried about the running game. You're going to get one-on-one matchups all day long. He's got one-on-one to Bernard Berrian. And in order to be able to step up in the pocket like that, you need good protection. And Brian McKinney snuffs out Travis LeBoy. Now, the route on the outside to Bernard Berrian is really not a great route. It's all based on speed, but he doesn't give a whole lot of room there for Jackson to lay that ball. And just a perfectly thrown pass by Tavares.
Now Tim Hightower is in the game at tailback, and Warner's going to throw it again. And it's Fitzgerald with a catch. Picked up 9. Let's go to the offense for the Arizona Cardinals. And I think after our visit with Ken Whisenhunt, we came away with the understanding that he believes his offensive line is playing better than it's getting credit for.
Well, I think they are too. They don't move people out in the running game, and for offensive linemen, that's ultimately how they get judged. And so people look at them and say, well, they're not running the ball, therefore the offensive line's not doing a good job. But they are doing a good job in pass protection, and that really is what they do best.
Quick throw, and that's a fumble. Anquan Boldin. Sharper on the return for Minnesota. A nightmare start for the Cardinals as Sharper is out of bounds inside the 25. Antoine Winfield knocked it out of the arms of Boldin, who made the catch, took a couple of steps, and then fumbled.
Anquan Boldin has the ball and not real secured when Antoine Winfield comes in and knocks it out. And you're right, everything that could go wrong right now for Arizona. Special teams, offensively now 2 turnovers, giving the ball right back to Minnesota. You wonder. I know in talking with Ken Whisenhunt, he said the biggest challenge for him was getting this team refocused on Wednesday after a nice win last week, clinching the division, and getting them prepared to come out here and play a good ball game against Minnesota. So far, he has not been successful in doing that.
How about both challenges are going to come from Ken Whisenhunt here in the first quarter? Did Boldin secure the catch before it was knocked out by Winfield? That's the challenge that Whisenhunt has put to Ron Winter.
Well, he doesn't have a
field is a catch and a fumble. Arizona is challenged a ruling of a catch.
He didn't have a great feel of the ball. It didn't look like when he had it, but yet I think that was possession. I don't see this one going back or being overturned.
We'll get the call from Ron Winter when we come back. A tricky call here for Ron Winter. I think you could make a case really on both sides. You could certainly make the case that Boldin had it, at least had enough of the ball, and it secured it for a catch. But he's also going up to re-grab it and try and make sure he secures it when the ball's knocked out by Winfield.
The receiver with possession of the ball took 2 or more steps before the ball was knocked loose by the defender. Therefore, it is a catch and a fumble. Arizona is charged with their second team timeout, and it's also their second challenge. They have no more challenges for the remainder of the game.
So Ken Whisenhunt is out of challenges. Darren Sharper has his 61st career takeaway, 7 career fumble returns, and 54 interceptions. He's the active leader in the NFL in that category. And this is a Vikings defense that has 13 fumble recoveries this season.
Yeah, in fact, they came into the game, Joe, leading the NFL in forced fumbles. And because of plays like that, and because this is a defense at the linebacker level, certainly Jared Allen and the forced fumble sacks, but it's a defense that plays very aggressively.
Handoff is to Adrian Peterson, and behind McKinney, he picks up a yard. Here's what's happened so far for the Vikings in what has been a big first quarter for Minnesota in a game that they would love to get here on the road. Berrian an 82-yard punt return for a touchdown. Cedric Griffin the interception, then the 41-yard touchdown throw to Berrian, and now Darren Sharper a fumble recovery. That's all within the first 10 minutes of this game. Now 2nd and 9. Jackson rolls out, throws, and completes to Vasanti Shenko. He's a yard shy of a first down. Here's a game break. Here's Kurt. All right, Kurt, so you've got that game going on. We know that the Dolphins won, as did the Jets. All three teams came in tied atop the AFC East at the start of the day. And here's Dugan with his second 2-yard carry on a 3rd and 1, and he's got another first down for Minnesota.
Well, you look at this Arizona defense and the way they've played all season, they've actually done pretty well. And I talked about it a little bit earlier. They're an undersized group. But where they've not been good is down here in the red zone. They give up a lot of touchdowns, and so their offense has not helped them when they give the opposing offense the short field, as they did on the interception, and then they do it again here with the fumble. And asking this defense to hold up and keep this team out of the end zone has been difficult all year long.
Yeah, this is the 30th ranked defense in touchdown percentage in the red zone for Arizona. Peterson carries, Antrell Roll, and Adrian Wilson, the two safeties, up to make the stop. And it's also the second straight time and a league high 32nd time that an Arizona opponent has started a drive in Cardinal territory, which has led to the problems in the red zone for the guys in red. 2nd and 9.
Well, with Minnesota coming into this game now, and if they're able to get another touchdown, or even if it's a field goal here, to have a 17-point lead and then just be able to focus on running the ball. I mean, Arizona came into this game hoping that they would be the ones building up a big lead early.
Handoff is to Peterson, trying to get to the edge, forced out by Roll after a gain of 5. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, if you're Arizona, you're thinking, let's get a lead. Let's make Tavares Jackson have to go to the air and beat us, and forget about Adrian Peterson, and the reverse has happened here in the first quarter.
Well, that's right, because so much of this season for the Cardinals has really been because of the offense. The offense does a good job controlling the ball, getting points, big plays, and then that helps out the defense. Instead, it's now the defense, or the offense anyway, that has put this defense in a real bind, and special teams with the way that went.
3rd down and 4. The pass is caught, and touchdown for Sidney Rice. What a start for the Vikings as Sidney Rice makes the catch on another bullet from Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, you called it, Joe. I mean, another ball that there just was not a lot of margin for error on the throw in order to get it in. You can see the slant, and it's not bad coverage. I mean, he just puts it right on his chest. If Tavares Jackson leads him on this throw, it's incomplete. Tavares Jackson sees exactly where the defender is and where the ball has to be placed for the score.
So the short field, thanks to the forced fumble by Antoine Winfield, one of the real good corners in the NFL, and the Vikings have turned it into more points. It's 21-0, and now inside our broadcast booth, Joe and Troy, and I mean, here's Arizona. You get the sense, being around this city, that people are saying, okay, yeah, they won the division, but how good are they really? And now they come out after beating St. Louis last week, and they've absolutely laid an egg so far here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that this is the game that everyone was pointing to say how good they were going to be. I mean, clearly Minnesota's a good football team, and they're right in the middle of the hunt. Arizona has played well here at home. I think everyone was kind of looking out to next week at New England. Can they go on the road and win in poor conditions? But, you know, you just wonder how much of last week's win and the celebratory mood that they had following that game come back to work on Wednesday. And as I said, Ken Whisenhunt said that was a challenge, and he didn't succeed at it based on what we've seen up to this point.
Yeah, he said it was a tough Wednesday. It was tough. He said, take the hats off, take the division champ hats off, the T-shirts off, and let's go back to work. And well, it has not been a good start. Turning the ball over, and now the Cardinals are going to have to ride that high-scoring offense. Most points from this offense in the league to this point in the season to try to get back in. A good return by J.J. Arrington of 24 yards. Maurice Hicks on the tackle for Minnesota. We look ahead to next week. It's a doubleheader day on Fox. These Cardinals will be in New England to take on the Patriots. It'll be a big game for New England, no doubt. then the late games, a couple of good ones there. Falcons at the Vikings. And Troy Pam and I will be in our nation's capital for. Can't even concentrate while I'm looking at Cortez.
He must be a rookie. You know, they always make the rookies put their names on tape across their helmets so the coaches would know what their name is. That's Cortez.
Greenway throws Warner to the dirt. Man, this is an absolute washover by a Minnesota team against the Cardinals.
Well, you know, the linebackers, like I said, I mean, this linebacking core is, I think, in a lot of ways, the heart and soul of this defense. And not taking anything away from Pat Williams or Kevin Williams or even Jared Allen and what he has meant to this team. But Ben Lieber and Chad Greenway do a great job within this scheme that Leslie Frazier has of putting a lot of pressure. They're great cover guys, as we've seen already from Greenway, and they're also very good blitzers.
Warner's in trouble again and just throws it away. This time Jared Allen, the high-priced defensive end who's been on a roll for Minnesota. And it's 3rd and 15, and Kurt Warner feels like he's back in St. Louis again.
Well, 21-0. I mean, he can expect this kind of pressure because they're going to pin their ears back, and Mike Gandy just gets a little overset on the protection, expecting Jared Allen to stay to the outside. Once he starts leaning in that direction, he comes right underneath him.
Underneath, the pass is caught by Bolden, and he cannot get first down yardage, and he was smacked by Benny Sapp. A gain of 11, but another 4th down and punt coming from Arizona.
And it's pretty remarkable, too, because the Arizona Cardinals came in offensively with the 3rd fewest 3-and-out possessions, and yet that's all they had. Now, they've had the turnovers as well, but they've just not been able to get anything going here in this first half.
Arizona needs something to tilt the tables back the other way as Graham hits another line drive. This time it's Bobby Wade. Stays on his feet. Part of this is the product of the punts from Ben Graham. They've been low line drive punts. Bernard Berrien returned the first one for 82 yards and a touchdown, and now Wade gets 22 yards right up the middle of the punt cover team for Arizona. And Minnesota will start at their own 48, up by 21, and Vikings fans back at home. And a lot of them here in this stadium in Arizona probably can't believe what they're seeing.
Well, for a team in the Cardinals that would like to do everything they can to put pressure on this quarterback, they've made it real easy on here in this first quarter.
Look at the jump that Adrian Peterson has right through the hole, picks up 8.
You know, you get the punt return for the touchdown. Your defense creates turnovers. They give your offense a short field. You know, Tavares Jackson right now, he's been able to settle in awfully nice. Hand the ball off to Adrian Peterson, let him pick up 7 yards. There's a lot of things going on right now for the Vikings that are very positive, and it's good also for Tavares Jackson and allowing him to settle in now in his 3rd start this year.
And to do it all on the road as Adrian Peterson loses half a yard. This is a Vikings team that has 92 total yards. That's it, with 21 points. And we're under a minute to go in this first quarter, and a 3rd and 2, and it's time for this Arizona Cardinals defense to make a play here and force a punt.
Yeah, it is, and they need to get off the field. And you know, this is a down for them where they've not done a very good job this year.
A toss to Peterson, running right down the sideline and out of bounds near the 20. 3rd and 2, and he goes off the edge and picks up 25, and that's Adrian Peterson, the home run hitter at running back for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, it's just a toss, you know, the weak side there, and you know, he finds the hole. Offensive line doing a good job of getting a push. A good run there by Adrian Peterson.
And his 18th of 20 or more yards this season. That was 25. First down Minnesota when we come back. Anquan Bolden has one of the turnovers, 2 so far for Arizona. 21-0. Cardinals defense needs to make a play, needs to come away with a takeaway. Minnesota just wants to do more of the same. Been a good start for Tavares Jackson after that initial possession. Jackson with a nice clean pocket finds Chester Taylor. And Chester Taylor is wrestled down. As the ball comes out, the officials look at one another. And Arizona does get that takeaway. And Brad Childress will want to take another look. Those two officials looked at each other. Neither made a call. And let's take another look. Was it a fumble by Taylor?
We'll see if when he goes down, he's on a body, his elbow's down there, but the ball's out at that point. It's out of his left arm. Not a real great look at it there, but it sure looked like it was out, Joe, before he would have been ruled down.
The only question I would have is the left elbow. I think you're right. The ball definitely came out before the right elbow went down, but the left elbow was a part of the package that we couldn't really see. Maybe this will give us another look. Elbow is down now, and it looks like the ball's already out. And now Childress just threw the red challenge flag. Boy, it's hard to see. Whatever angle we've shown. And Ron Winter will look at all of them. This will be the third challenge already.
Well, and in addition to the elbow, I mean, it's his back as well. It's anything other than the hand or foot that touches the ground then would be down by contact. But
there's a catch and a fumble recovered by the defense.
Even his shoulders, when his shoulders are going to the ground, I was looking at that as well, and the ball was out even before his shoulders got to the ground, which is almost simultaneous there with his right elbow.
Yeah, he's on the body of Carlos Dansby. We'll get the call from Ron Winter, who's been busy, when we return. Well, we kind of think the call will stand. If it does, it'll be the third turnover of the game, and this might be the best look at it to see the ball come out before the back is down to the elbow or the shoulder. Gerald Hayes, who forced 2 turnovers last week, one that resulted immediately in a touchdown.
The runner was pulled down on top of a defensive player. Before his right elbow touched the ground, the ball came loose. Therefore, it is a fumble and a recovery by the defense. Minnesota was charged with their first team timeout.
Nice run that Gerald Hayes has been on. 3 forced fumbles in the last 2+ games.
Well, really a great job there by Arizona defensively. I mean, the last thing they could afford to have happen is to go down by any more points. And, you know, offense puts them in a bind, gives the short field to Minnesota, and for them to then create a turnover of their own and give it right back to the offense. Just a great job by Arizona defensively. You know, you wonder right now, or at least I do, Joe, offensively for the Cardinals, they've been doing a lot of this no huddle. They want to try to tire out the defense, get them running sideline to sideline. You know, that hasn't worked so far. It's not all because of what they're doing with the no huddle. You know, obviously some poor throws there and then not securing the football, but I would expect them to maybe get back into the more conventional, slow it up, huddle up, and let's make sure we know what we're doing.
Well, they started with a handoff to Tim Hightower. Pretty good run on first down. Hightower had a great first start at St. Louis. 22 carries, 109 yards, a touchdown on November 2nd. Averaged 5 yards a carry. Since then, really not much, averaging just over 2 yards a carry, and part of a running game that really is non-existent for Arizona.
In fact, that's why he replaced Edgerrin James, was because they felt that Hightower could get more out of the running game than what Edgerrin was able to, but he has not been able to do that, and that's why I think J.J. Arrington, he's the guy who's gotten the most out of his opportunities. Let him run it more.
He's in there now. He gets it on a delayed handoff. What a move he made. He left Madieu Williams frozen in time and made that move for a 16-yard run.
Yeah, watch the move, the stick, and then cut back inside that. Just leaves Madieu Williams right there in his tracks, and those are the kinds of things that J.J. Arrington can do. And I know in asking Ken Wisenhunt why Arrington wasn't getting more opportunities, he said, well, he's starting to earn the right to get more chances. Well, you know, we're in the 14th game of the season. It's time to start giving this guy the ball more.
It's Hightower this time over the right side, and he picks up a yard. Williams was in there. Ray Edwards, he ran right at his spot. 2nd down and 9. And there's the play selection for Ken Whisenhunt, the offensive coordinator here with the Arizona Cardinals. Todd Haley, who was in Dallas and has been a disciple of Bill Parcells, and he's done a nice job in coordinating this passing attack that's been directed brilliantly by Kurt Warner.
He sure has. He's taken the pieces that they have and he's put together an offense that allows them to do what they do best.
Here's Arrington again. Good throw by Warner. Hit him in stride. And Arrington picks up 7. Cedric Griffin forced him out. So 3rd down and short coming up.
You talk about Todd Haley, and not a lot of people know about him, and based on what he has done here in Arizona as the offensive coordinator, he took over the play calling last year in the middle of the season, has had the play calling responsibilities all of this year, that you would immediately say, well, this guy just likes to throw the football. No, I mean, he really likes to be balanced. He'll do, but he'll do whatever his personnel dictates that they should do in order to be successful. And for this group and for Kurt Warner, that means throwing the football.
And it's 3rd and 2. They will put it up. And the pass is caught. Depends on the spot. Anquan Boldin, it looks like, has enough for a 1st down. He does according to our line, and he does according to Ron Winter. Chad Greenway out there to make the stop.
You know, I think the interesting thing about Arizona, as much as they throw the ball, it hasn't really hurt their defense. Now it has today. I mean, their offense has hurt their defense here in this first half. But over the course of this season, Kurt Warner has a 68% completion percentage, and that's highest in the NFL. They do a great job controlling the ball and keeping their defense off the field for the most part.
There's also the 500th catch in the career of Anquan Boldin. This one is just too high for Larry Fitzgerald, incomplete, and Warner knows he just missed on a big opportunity.
Yeah, Kurt Warner paid the price on that one, got hit just as he let it go. Jared Allen was in there, and he puts the move there again on Mike Gandy, comes underneath him and brings him to the ground. But a ball that, you know, a high ball, obviously we've seen a couple of passes now that have gotten away from Kurt Warner, but those are the plays typically that Larry Fitzgerald makes.
Mentioned Boldin gets to 500 catches in his career in just his 80th game, by far the quickest to do it. With regard to games, Warner for Fitzgerald, and nearly picked off by Cedric Griffin. Would have been his 2nd of the game, and that ball was woefully short by Kurt Warner.
That's a hard throw to make, and in order to make it, when you're talking about rolling out and throwing all the way across field, you got to be able to step up into the throw, and Kurt, you know, feeling the pressure there by Kevin Williams, isn't able to get it out there far enough. And Cedric Griffin looked like he was going to have an easy interception. Certainly easier than the one that he made a little bit earlier.
He wanted another one-handed pick. I don't know why he went up with just the left hand, but couldn't pull it in. Now it's 3rd and 10 with Boldin in the backfield. Warner's in trouble. Slides along the line of scrimmage and finds Urban for a 1st down. That was a good play by the 37-year-old Kurt Warner.
Sure was. You see his shoulder pad there. He got grabbed by the jersey. Jeremy Urban, I think he's been a nice addition to this offense. You know, not a guy that they talk a lot about, but when you're talking about your 4th receiver, you know, being able to do some of the things that Jeremy Urban can do, that really can put a defense in a bind, trying to match up with him. Now they were in zone. A good job by Urban being able to find where that was.
23-yard completion on 3rd and 10. 9th play of the drive. For the Minnesota 38, and that was quarterback and receiver not on the same page as Breston wasn't looking for the football. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Breston was looking to go make a block. He didn't even know it was a pass play. You see Breston here, looked like he was getting ready to go out there and try to maybe block the safety. Medea Williams, and Kurt's trying to put one there where maybe he can make a play.
That was ugly. 2nd and 10. Warner is only 8 for 16, and now he has to spend the Cardinals' final timeout of this first half. He is frustrated. So are the Cardinals, down 21-0.
Watch out, baby. Watch out.
Couple of turnovers and good work by Tavares Jackson and Bernard Berrien. And a 21-0 Vikings lead. This is the 29th consecutive sellout in this stadium, where they've been playing since 2006, and there are a lot of Vikings fans in attendance. A lot of purple is splattered in amongst these Cardinal fans. These two teams that are vying for the number 3 seed between them. Right now, the 3 and 4 seeds in the NFC playoff picture. 2nd and 10. Warner, Hightower out of the backfield, and there's Winfield, and that's exactly why you like him. He will stick his face in there and make a play.
He can do it all, Joe. I mean, he may be having the best year that he's had, and he doesn't have big numbers. You know, and I think that at the end of the day, that's probably going to keep him from making the Pro Bowl again, because it's hard to vote for a corner that doesn't have a lot of interceptions and then also is playing for the 20th ranked pass defense. But he's the whole package. I mean, he can cover, he can tackle, he can make big plays. He had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown earlier in the year, but he's a guy that when it's all said and done deserves to be going over to Hawaii.
3rd down and 7. The Cardinals 2 for 2 on 3rd down on this drive, and all they can do is have Levi Brown fall on the fumble as Warner had it knocked away by Brian Robinson, who is pretty fresh off knee surgery.
I was going to say, he's not even 100% himself, and this is the real concern. I mean, they put these tackles. You see Levi Brown doesn't even get much of a hand there on Robinson, and the Cardinals expose these tackles. They don't give them a lot of help, but the Vikings have taken advantage of that here today.
Now Ben Graham sticks the nose of the football down and hits it. Bernard Berrien, a fair catch just inside the 10. That play by Robinson knocked Arizona out of field goal range. Still 21-0. Bernard Berrien has had some first half. And really, he's had a career that's been, talk about a home run hitter in Adrian Peterson. He has been on the outside. 20 career touchdowns, 14 of them, 2 today, have been 30 or more yards. Averaging over 20 yards per catch in his first year with the Vikings. Starting at their own 9, and penalty flags fly. It's a false start.
False start. Offense number 74.
Let's get to know more about number 87. Oh, Bernard.
I do like fashion. I love clothes. I love hats. Any type of hat. If it's a nice day, I'm dressed nice. You might catch me in a fedora. My snake, his name is Roscoe. Named him after a character on Martin Show. There's little Roscoe for you right here. Vicious. I just always wanted one, and then my girlfriend actually, she went out and bought me one for Christmas, so I was very happy with that.
Who wouldn't be? 1st and 14. A handoff is to Peterson. Boy, he made something out of not much. He gains 9, and Gerald Hayes is there to make the tackle for the Cardinals.
I tell you, that's such a luxury that the Vikings have, and what Gus Frerotte had when he was playing, and now Tavares Jackson today, that, you know, 1st and 15 or 2nd and 10, and you're able to turn around and hand the ball off to a guy like Adrian Peterson, who picks up, you know, positive yards, 8, 9 yards, and all of a sudden you find yourself right in ahead of the chains, and now they're at 2nd and 5 after a 10-yard gain. I had that when I played, and these Viking quarterbacks have that with him.
Here is Adrian Peterson, and he is brought down just short of first down yardage, although now that the official moves his way in from the sideline, it's enough for a first down. So a rather generous spot. Instead of 3rd and 1, it's 1st and 10, and there are the carries so far for Adrian Peterson.
And you see the 25-yarder here, and yeah, he'll have the 1- and 2-yard run, as all running backs will, but every week it seems, and certainly more weeks than not, he has that big 20-yard run. It's really remarkable how he's able to get outside and pick up big plays running the football.
False start. Offense number 62. The 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
That's Ryan Cook, who's getting the start out at right tackle. Artis Hicks had been there. He's got a partially torn triceps, something that they're going to have to work on at the end of the year. Hicks could be back before the end of this season, but now Brad Childress has Cook, who started the first 10 games out at right tackle, and now he's back out there. 1st and 15. Jackson with a good pocket throws, and he missed Berrien. Berrien was open. Pass was low and behind him. 2nd and 15.
Yeah, and Tavares knows that that's one that he missed, and he's made some good throws, some really great throws in this game. And you just wonder if he's able to continue to play well here today, and next week, what exactly is the status of Gus Frerotte? He's got a fractured lower back. It's not nearly as serious as what it sounds, but yet it obviously is a complication that could keep him out some time, and Tavares Jackson could be the guy who's responsible for getting them where they want to go.
How about 4 false starts against Minnesota?
False start. Offense number 40. The 5-yard penalty remains second down.
That's Kleinsasser. That's the only thing they're doing wrong.
A lot of it too, I think, has to do not so much with the noise, because even as you said a little bit earlier, Joe, with all the Minnesota fans that are here, I think it has more to do with just a different quarterback. And yes, they had a chance last week in the second half of that game, but anytime you go with a new signal caller, they call things a little bit differently, and it takes these guys up front a little time to get used to that.
2nd and 20 after the 2 false starts, and they hand to Peterson, and there he goes, breaking it for a first down. Wrestled out of bounds at the 41. 2nd and 20. Peterson wants a horse collar tackle call against the Cardinals, but it's a 32-yard run, his longest of the day.
Well, you try to bottle him up as best you can. They don't want him to get to the outside. They feel that that's when he's able to make his biggest runs, and it's almost like he's in slow motion and no one can get to him. I mean, he's very patient for as powerful a runner as what he is. He just waits till he finds his crease, and he's able to make a big run.
Fake somebody right out of their pads.
He's done that a few times.
Now it's Chester Taylor bouncing it. Gets away from Adrian Wilson. He's dragged down from behind as he takes it to the 39, and the running game is working for Brad Childress, who is furious because he wants a horse collar call against this Cardinal defense. I don't think either one of them, definitely this one, was not in that category.
Watch Adrian Wilson there, and Peterson is able, Chester Taylor is able to put the stiff arm on him there and get away from him. Adrian Wilson, one of the most secure tacklers in the National Football League, a guy who plays like a linebacker, and I think it was the right non-call there on the horse collar.
Handoff is to Taylor. They're running all over the Cardinals, and for a horse collar call, by the way, you have to reach in, grab, and drag all the way to the ground from behind. So I don't think either one fell into that category, and already a 100-yard day for Peterson. Chester Taylor 2 carries ago had a 20-yard gain, and this has been a terrific start for the Vikings.
Yeah, Chester Taylor just trying to make up for the fumble that he had, but a guy who could probably start for about 15 or 20 teams in the NFL, and probably could start for the team he's going up against right now.
2nd and 7. Here is Adrian Peterson. He picks up 5. Let's go to Kurt for a game break. Kurt, we'll keep checking back in with you. Big games as these teams play their 14th of the season. An eye on the playoff picture. That's Berrien at the top. High snap. Chester Taylor. They make it look easy. A gain of 10, and now Travis LeBoy is holding his left arm or wrist as he heads off the field.
Well, and that's what the Cardinals are trying to avoid. You know, for a team that has already secured a playoff spot, they don't, you know, and they've remained pretty healthy for the most part. I don't know really what happened there to them. It didn't look like it was too serious. We'll get a report on that. But you know, the Cardinals, when you look at their team as a whole, it's a group that for the most part has stayed very healthy. Now the last thing they can have happen is have guys like Travis LeBoy go down here with a few weeks left prior to going into the playoffs.
Handoff is to Chester Taylor. Terrible tackling by Arizona. They've missed one after another, and a gain of about 9.5 by Taylor.
You know, whether it's Chester Taylor or Adrian Peterson, the way that you try to stop these guys is you've got to have a lot of people swarming to the ball. I don't know that we're seeing that. And then what we are seeing, though, is a lot of poor tackling. You know, you got guys waiting on him right there. You got Cromartie, who's in a position, but rather than go get him, he waits for him. And whether it's Chester Taylor or Peterson, those guys are both quick enough. They'll get away from him.
Why not just stick with a ground game as Adrian Peterson finally is brought down. This time it's Dansby and Hayes on the tackle. That previous carry by Chester Taylor was enough for a first down. Obviously now it's 2nd and 10, and Minnesota has already put up 153 yards on the ground against the Cardinals defense.
Well, I guess they saw what Carolina was able to do last week against Tampa, and they said, hey, that's something worth shooting for, because right now they're on pace to do better than that.
299 yards for Carolina against Tampa last week. There's Clancy Pendergast, who's the defensive coordinator for Arizona. He looks pained over on the sideline. Here's a toss to Taylor, and he picks up a yard.
You know, it's interesting looking at these two teams offensively, and you know, Brad Childress coming from the Philadelphia Eagles, and Andy Reid, and throwing the football there with Donovan McNabb. That when he got this job, I think a lot of people thought that it would be the Vikings who would be throwing the ball all over the field. Instead, they're running the ball. And then on the other hand, Ken Wisenhunt, coming from Pittsburgh and smash mouth football, that they would be the team running the ball, and yet they're throwing it as much as anybody in the league.
It's 3rd down and 9, already up 21-zip. Underneath, Chester Taylor, touchdown Vikings. A hug from Matt Burke, the offensive lineman in the center of this good group up front. And whether it's Tavares Jackson throwing it or Taylor or Peterson running it, it's all Minnesota here today.
Yeah, it's a middle screen. You're going to see he comes up, acts like he's going to block Darnell Dockett. He turns around. You got Burke and everybody else leading the way down the field. Good execution, nice drive.
It's 3 touchdown passes for Tavares Jackson in this game, and all 3 have come on 3rd down. Take a break, come back. Arizona will get it, but it's been all Vikings to this point. How about this score? 28-zip. How about a 91-yard drive, and actually 94 rush yards on the drive because of penalties. It marched them back a couple of times, but this Minnesota offense, guided by Tavares Jackson, he's got to be beside himself for the way this game has unfolded here in the first half after getting benched for week 3. Here is Arrington, and he is wrestled down at the 31, a 23-yard return. And it was Hicks on the stop again. This January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football. Beginning on New Year's Day with the FedEx Orange Bowl, the AT&T Cotton Bowl, the Allstate Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and finally the FedEx BCS National Championship game. It's all right here in high definition, beginning January 1st on Fox.
And congratulations to Sam Bradford there of the University of Oklahoma and his Heisman Trophy. Had a heck of a season.
Yeah, definitely deserving. That high-powered offense as Arrington makes the play. Gains 9 on the catch and run. 2nd and 1 when we come back. For Arizona down 28. 2-minute warning. Here at University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The home team is down 28-0. And the Cardinals have no timeouts remaining. Warner finally has a little time to throw, and underneath Arrington is brought down by Ben Lieber. He got nothing. It's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, what a great job by Ben Lieber, because as we've talked about here in this first half, the skills of J.J. Arrington, and kind of goes back to what I've said, Ben Lieber and Chad Greenway, rushing the passer, but to be able to use those guys to cover someone of the skills of Arrington is a pretty nice luxury.
Warner in trouble and throws high, drops by Breston. And now it's 4th down, so 2nd and 1, and the Cardinals can't turn it into a 1st down, and this crowd is letting the NFC Western Division champs have it as they come to the sideline.
Well, I think this was a Cardinal offense that came into this game thinking that they were going to be able to do some good things against this Vikings defense. The defense for the pass defense, that is, for Minnesota coming in this game, not real good at giving up a lot of big plays, but yet Arizona's not been able to take advantage of anything.
One of the reasons is Warner hasn't had a lot of time. Booming punt, and it couldn't have been any better by Ben Graham. Out at the 1. How about a 59-yard punt that goes out of bounds at the 1? Talk about the pressure on Warner, and here you go. He's had a guy in his face most of the first half.
Yeah, he has. You think so much of the outside pressure there with Jared Allen, and that's a big part of how they get the pressure. But then they also have been able to bring the linebackers inside and mix things up just enough. And so much of this game, especially from a defensive standpoint, Leslie Frazier doing a good job this week of breaking down the protections there for Arizona and the matchups and how he could take advantage of that.
Here's where not having timeouts kill you, because defensively the Cardinals can't do anything to take advantage of that 59-yard punt that went out of bounds at the 1. The Vikings can basically just push forward with Jackson and run out the half. The Visa halftime reports coming up. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Scores and highlights from around the league. The Fox Sports Ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. 2nd down and 9, and you probably will get the same from Tavares Jackson. Even with their good ground game, probably not even worth turning around and handing it off. Jackson keeps it, and that will do it for the first half. By the way, Bryant McKinney left the field early prior to that last possession by the Vikings. He went to the dressing room getting checked on. We'll try and get word as to what was wrong with McKinney, the big left tackle for Minnesota. It is halftime here in the desert. It has been all Minnesota, leading 28-0. Tavares Jackson, 3 touchdown passes, and a great first half for Minnesota.
Watch out, baby, watch out.
Well, in a game that is probably more meaningful for the Minnesota Vikings than it is the Arizona Cardinals. Not a huge difference really in the playoff picture between a 3 and a 4 seed, but for the Vikings trying to win and stay a game in front of Chicago, who they have the tiebreaker on anyway. What have we seen here so far in the first half? I did not expect to see this at all.
I don't think anybody did. I certainly don't think the Cardinals did. I mean, in visiting with them while we've been in town, I think they were a pretty confident group and felt that they'd come out here and play well. And But yet, when you've got a team, Minnesota's not desperate, but yet they're, as you said, right in the middle of this divisional race, after Chicago was able to win, and they are the team that certainly played with more urgency here in this first half.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And it's been the ground game for Minnesota that's been so impressive. 156 rushing yards compared to 28. And it will be the Cardinals starting this second half with the football, and they better do something with it. Time of possession, everything just dominated. 8 of 9 on third down for the Minnesota Vikings, and 3 touchdown passes from Tavares Jackson. And as you look at Adrian Peterson, realize he is 1 yard shy of tying, 2 yards shy of setting the new single season franchise record for rushing yardage in a season. He's at 15:20. Robert Smith has the record at 15:21. But it will be Arizona with the football to start this second half. The highest scoring offense in the NFL has been shut out. J.J. Arrington from inside the end zone, looking for something big. Is out to the 27, down to the field we go, and Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, Ken Whisenhunt had some concerns about an emotional letdown, and he's pretty much admitted to me that, yes, that's exactly what's happened. That and Bernard Berrien's long punt return did him in. Also, he said offensively, how do you get something going, I asked him. He says, well, that was something he did not want to discuss. He says that's something we'll work on in the locker room. Brad Childress, meanwhile, he said he told his team they are the better team. Now he says we have to keep our foot on their necks.
And that will have to start for the Vikings defensively as Kurt Warner starts the second half in the shotgun. And a quick throw to Preston. Out to the 30, maybe 31, brought down by Madieu Williams. So far, Bernard Berrien for the Vikings has 2 big plays of 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Arizona offense with 115 yards on 25 plays. That is it. 2nd and 6. Warner throws, has Preston open at midfield. 19 yards and a first down for the Cardinals.
And this was a good throw by Kurt Warner because he doesn't want to lead him up the field. Instead, he puts it on his body and helps protect him really from taking a pretty good hit. And on the previous play when they ran that screen, if Preston had stayed to the outside, they had the perfect play on for what Minnesota did, bringing a safety blitz. Heck, he might have even gone all the way.
Here's another blitz. This one is caught by Urban. Nice move. Still going. Jeremy Urban. Good start to the half for Arizona. With only 1:17 gone in the second half, with the extra point coming, it'll be a 21-point game.
Jeremy Urban there in the slot, all he did was just go up about 6 yards, catch the ball, and then poor tackling, really, by the Minnesota Vikings. Right there, Sharper had an opportunity to get to him, and it's kind of nice when you make a short completion and all of a sudden you're going the distance for a touchdown.
Obviously, Troy, just great adjustments at halftime. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Shut out in the first half, and in a blink, the Cardinals are down the field into the end zone and down 21. We take you down the field. That's exactly what Kurt Warner just did in 3 plays, 73 yards and just 1:17 off the clock. Urban with a 50-yarder. Now Todd Haley comes over to chat with Warner. And the Minnesota offense will go back to work after the return by Hicks. Thought about it, but takes a knee. Early game headliners: Phillip Rivers with a come-from-behind effort, 34 for 48, 346 yards. He's having a great year statistically for San Diego. And the Chargers end up with their 6th win of the season. Chad Pennington, another win for the Dolphins. Steve Slayton, running back for the Texans, 24 carries, 100 yards. And in that AFC East, the Jets won. Miami won. And New England's playing now and leading it at Oakland. Handoff is to Adrian Peterson. He picks up 2, and with that, Adrian has now set a new Minnesota Vikings franchise record with 522 yards and counting this season.
Well, that's why I said a little bit earlier. I mean, this guy is such a special runner that the only thing that's going to keep him from really accomplishing a lot of great things in the coming years is an injury, and you're always worried about that with any player, but especially someone that's as physical a runner as what Adrian Peterson is.
Brian McKinney is back on the field for the Vikings, left late in the first half. To the edge, Peterson down the sideline. He can hit you with power, he can hit you with speed, and he gets 14 off the left side.
Yeah, and so many of his big runs, we've seen some of them to where he gets bottled up inside, but because of his patience, he's able to then get to the outside. But this one's just a straight off tackle handoff, and nobody's able to turn him back to the inside. Bobby Wade right here makes a good block that keeps him from being able to turn him back to the inside. And I know in talking with defensive coordinator Clancy Pendergast, he knew that was the real key. In looking at film, we can't allow Adrian Peterson free runs out on the edge.
Jackson throws, got hit as he let it go, and the pass is broken up. Good play by Roderick Hood, and Brad Childress is going to pull a hamstring going after the official wanting to get a flag for pass interference on Bobby Wade.
Well, he went to the back of the receiver. It's just, was there contact prior to the ball there? And it looks like there probably was, and I think the official wouldn't have been wrong had he have thrown one.
2nd and 10. Childress in his 3rd year with Minnesota. 6 and 10 his first year, 8 and 8 last year, trying to secure a playoff spot. This one is dropped for Tahi, the fullback, and he steps out of bounds. No gain. So 3rd down and 10, and this would be a nice opportunity for Arizona with a defensive stand here to try and get back into this game, now down 21.
Well, they need to make a stand here on 3rd down because they did not do a very good job there in the first half. They had 9 opportunities to stop Minnesota and failed on 8 of them.
Taylor on a screen, doesn't get it. And a good play was made by Roderick Hood. A gain of 9. It's 4th and 2, and the punt team will come on for the Vikings.
Well, he was close to it. Chester Taylor on the screen play, and the Cardinals doing a good job on that down. I would think that going up against Minnesota, from what I've seen in this game and then last week in that win over Detroit, a lot of the boots, a lot of the screens, and 3rd and longs, you can expect that, or the deep shots down the field. So far, Minnesota really hasn't shown a lot to defense in terms of their passing game.
Kluwe gets rid of it, and it's over the head of Breston into the end zone, and the Cardinals, who just scored on the first possession of this second half, will start at their own 20, down 21. It'll be first down at their 20 for the Arizona Cardinals. Edgerrin James, who was number 13 on the all-time rush list, played a little more last week against St. Louis, but for the most part he is benched. Right now it's Hightower in the backfield. Out of the backfield it is Ben Patrick. The big tight end picks up 5.
You think back to last week and when the Cardinals clinched that division, and what Edgerrin James meant to this organization when they picked him up in free agency. Probably the first real superstar that the Cardinals were able to sign. And I understand why they made the move, but really unfortunate that he wasn't on the field to be a part of that.
Pat Williams is down, injured. He gets attention from the medical staff of the Vikings. We'll take a break. Checking something on the arm or hand of Pat Williams, who was able to get up and get off the field. It's 2nd down and 5. Pat and Kevin Williams 2 of the 5 NFL players who were suspended for 4 games by the league for violating the anti-doping policy. Here is one down the sideline, and Breaston, what a play, and a flag comes in on Winfield, and he can't believe it. It'll be pass interference against Antoine Winfield, and Brad Childress can't believe it either.
You know, Kurt Warner had a chance. If he throws this ball to the inside to Breaston, that's where he was expecting it. It leads him to the sideline, and Breaston goes to get it. And I think this is a good call. Well, they pick up the flag.
For the ball.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. The ball's coming in. Breaston's going after it, but you can't go through the receiver to make the play on the ball. I understand that Winfield's trying to make the play on the ball, but you can't go through the offensive receiver when you are making the play.
The call from Ron Winter, if you could hear it on the audio, was that the defender was going for the football, which is exactly what Antoine Winfield was saying, and they picked up the flag. So it would have been a 49-yard penalty, and instead it comes back as an incompletion. It's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and like I said, had Kurt Warner have thrown that ball to the inside of the field or to the inside shoulder of Steve Breaston, then it's an easy completion. But Kurt was expecting to get it to the outside, and Breaston just couldn't go get and make a play on it. And a questionable call or a questionable pickup there with Winfield.
3rd down and 5, and this one is floated for Patrick. And he's got a 1st down out near the 35-yard line. They'll mark him at the 36, a gain of 11. And right now they take Pat Williams off, and we'll go back and see what happened.
Yeah, initially I thought it might be something down around his legs. He gets taken out there, but you know, nothing got twisted up. And then as he comes up, you can tell that it's his arm, his elbow, something having to do with that area.
So they take him off. The big 3rd down completion by Kurt Warner. And on 1st down, this one for Bolden. And Warner and Bolden were on different pages of the playbook. 2nd and 10. And you look at Kurt Warner. He gets up shaking out his hand. He's had people in his face and been on his back a lot. 29 passes. Only 4 times have the Cardinals run the ball, and one of the reasons they fell into a deep hole early.
And you can see him. He's kind of grabbing that hand. It looks like his right hand. It's well documented the problems that he's had with that. It looks like he fell on it, and it's giving him some problems right now.
A blitz. Warner just dumps it off. Greenway was in his face, and it'll be 3rd and 10. Let's go back to the previous play and see why Kurt got up shaking out that right hand.
Well, Kevin Williams is the one who gets the hit on him, and couldn't tell exactly what it was, but he definitely got up and then started clutching it. And Kurt Warner, I mean, this offensive line, as we said, they overall, for a team that throws it as much as they do, it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on them up front, but they've done a good job overall, but he takes a lot of hits.
Here's the last play, and got a hit right into his chest and face by Greenway. 3rd and 10. A little sprint out by Warner. In trouble and throws it away. Take your pick. Pressure by Robinson, but he had help, and now Robinson gets up limping.
Just nowhere there for Kurt Warner to throw the ball. The receivers were covered, and when you sprint out to the right side, then you cut the field in half. And Robinson, who you talked about, Joe, coming off the knee surgery and came into this game less than 100%. In fact, they weren't even real sure he was going to be able to play, and the knee giving him some problems again today.
Ben Graham hits another good punt. And from about the 12, Bobby Wade returns it 8 yards. We'll take a break, come back. Minnesota offense back to the field, and Kurt Warner will try to shake out the cobwebs in the right hand over on the bench. 1st and 10, Minnesota. Starting at their own 20. One of the many Vikings fans here in attendance. It's supposed to rain today.
Sure doesn't look like it.
No, I don't think so. Clear blue skies. I guess a few puffy clouds. The roof is open. Tavares Jackson. Play action. Has all day. Uses his legs, but he doesn't have enough, and now a penalty flag comes in. It could be on the tackle by Dockett.
Behind.
Play, so we'll go 15 from hit the spot.
The spot that way. Personal foul. Illegal horse collar tackle. Defense. 15-yard penalty and a first down.
So they get Dockett for the horse collar tackle. Something that Brad Childress thought should have happened a lot earlier in this game. He reaches in, grabs, and pulls all the way to the ground.
Yeah, that's the way it's defined in the book. You know, if you get them to the ground right away by the pads, then they're going to call it. And you know, Tavares Jackson had a chance had he have seen it. I don't know if he just couldn't pick him up or not, but Bernard Berrian on that last play was running down the middle with a chance.
Handoff is to Peterson. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie misses on another tackle, and Adrian Peterson gets 17 yards over the left corner.
Yeah, Cromartie, the rookie who actually has come on here in recent weeks. This isn't why he was drafted, though. I mean, he was real hesitant on trying to get arms on Adrian Peterson. Didn't look like he really wanted any part of that. I can't say that I blame him.
4 carries of 10 or more yards in this game for Adrian Peterson. He came in the league's leader in that category. Now has 39 rushes of 10 or more yards this season. Here's Taylor. He hops right through this defense and picks up 7. Let's go down to the field and Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, one side of the Williams wall is missing a piece at the moment. Pat Williams was carted off the field, headed in the direction of where they do x-rays at this stadium. Early word is that Pat Williams has a shoulder injury. His return is questionable.
All right, Pam, and started to get into the story, which is pretty well documented by now. There is the other Williams, Kevin Williams. Pat Williams has been carted off. It appears that because of the U.S. District Judge ruling that his injunction will stay in place and the league can't suspend until further notice those 5 players, that those 5 players will have a chance to finish out the regular season, which is big news for Minnesota. With the 2 Williams right in the heart of this defense, and they should have them for at least the remainder of the regular season.
Yeah, I know there were a couple of teams, or at least one team, that had a player and decided for him to go ahead and serve his 4-game suspension because they lose with Tennessee, wanted him back, you know, for the playoffs. But Minnesota, good chance they don't get into the playoffs without Pat and Kevin Williams there on that defensive front.
It's 3rd down and 1. Roll out by Jackson. The pass is perfect. Forced out of bounds is Bobby Wade, a gain of 8. We look ahead to next week. Pregame at noon Eastern right here on Fox. Arizona at New England. Early game, and then 2 good late ones. Philadelphia at Washington. The Eagles very much alive in the NFC playoff race, and Atlanta at Minnesota, which are 2 teams that have high hopes for postseason play this season, going at it at the Metrodome. 1st and 10.
Sorry, Joe. Good win by Atlanta today, too.
Absolutely. In overtime, they win at home over Tampa Bay. Here is Adrian Peterson getting 2. Meanwhile, Philadelphia at 7-5-1. Troy, they host Cleveland tomorrow night. Then they're at Washington following week, which is next Sunday. And then at home against Dallas to end the year, which could be a big one right here on Fox.
Well, isn't it remarkable in light of everything that's happened to that Dallas Cowboys team all year, especially this week, that they are in the driver's seat for a wild card spot?
Here is 2nd and 8, and there is Adrian Peterson. Lost the ball. Dockett comes away with it. Antrill Roll on the tackle. Peterson lost the football. And the officials have yet to indicate whose ball it is. The Arizona offense is on the field. And I think that's going to stay with Minnesota.
Yeah, that's down by contact. But having said that, that's
Rolling on the field is a fumble recovered and advanced by the defense.
Well, they're calling it a fumble. Brad Childress will challenge it. It'll definitely, well, say definitely. It's probably the worst thing you can say in these positions, but there's no doubt that he had the ground cause the fumble, and Minnesota will be out of challenges at the end of this as well.
Well, I can tell you that Brad Childress
recovered by the defense. Minnesota's challenge, but the runner was down by contact.
Brad Childress is getting real tired here of having to throw that red flag because of fumbles and waste challenges.
Let's go for a game break while they look at it. Here's Curt Menefee. Yes, they do. A record of 10-3, trying to go to 11-3. Their offensive line is healthy. The running game is rolling. D'Angelo came in with 10 touchdowns in his last 5 games. There's a look at the NFC South, which has emerged as the most competitive division, definitely in the NFC. And if that's not the ground causing the fumble, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess Brad Childress will be getting a call from Adrian's father at some point, either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, and he gets text messages and phone calls from Adrian's father, frustrated more than any Vikings fan with the fumbles lately by Peterson.
Well, I asked Brad because sometimes you don't want to bring it up to a running back who's struggling hanging on to the ball, and I asked him the other night, hey, what do you say, or if anything, to Adrian Peterson about these fumbles? And he said, I don't have to say anything. His dad gets after him, and his dad calls me and tells me I don't have to say anything because he's going to get after him.
Basically, he fumbled 4 times last week. He had 2 of them changed, one on a replay during the game and then one on a stat change during the week. It was taken off his record, but he is still tied with Marion Barber.
After review, the runner with the ball in his possession came to the ground and his forearm hit the ball. There is not a fumble. The runner is down by contact. The ball belongs to Minnesota. First down at the 17.5-yard line. Minnesota is not charged with a timeout.
By the way, I mentioned the 6 fumbles on the year, tied for the most by a non-quarterback in the league, tied with Marion Barber. This one is taken off the books. Kurt Warner has to go back and sit on the bench. And the Vikings with a chance to add to a 21-point lead with a ball at the 17 of Arizona.
And that is a big concern. I mean, I know that you're in the ball back here, but boy, I tell you what, no matter how talented a runner is, if they can't hang on to the ball, when you get into big games, you get into postseason play, it's hard to keep that guy on the field. Now, I'm not suggesting they're not going to have him carrying the football anytime soon.
Yeah, but it is something that they are discussing as Peterson is dragged down by Adrian Wilson, a loss of 3. Let's go down to Pam.
Well, Joe, over the course of the season, poor Adrian Peterson just gets it from all sides about one of his trouble spots, fumbles, whether he recovers them or not. As you guys alluded to, his own father, Nelson Peterson, will send Brad Childress a text or 2 during the week with reminders. Tell him to watch his pad levels, stress that he keeps the ball high and tight, switch the ball from right to left for leverage purposes. And if that's not enough, his position coach, Eric Bieniemy, well, he resorts to putting the fear of God in the poor guy. Bieniemy has gone so far as to tell him, you putting the ball on the ground could mean the difference between us making the playoffs or not.
Well, Pam, thank you. And while you were giving that report, we see Eric Bieniemy there, the running backs coach. He also could be a big part of Minnesota making a charge through the month of January in the postseason. Meanwhile, Peterson, who has 22 carries on the day, just had his first negative run of 3 yards, and now one of the Arizona players is down. We believe it's Antonio Smith. Hard to see with all those bodies around. It is Antonio Smith, starting left defensive end, and he's able to hop up and take himself off the field. It'll be 2nd and 13 when play resumes.
So, Joe, we talked about Arizona and not really being in a position to afford to get guys hurt going into postseason. But I think if you look at this game, I'd be real concerned. I mean, you and I both had a chance to talk to some players and coaches, and You kind of get the feeling that, yeah, we're a good team, but how good are we? And you know that they're not an overly confident team, and there's still some uncertainty about all that. And then you come into a game like this and play the way they have. That doesn't bode real well.
Tavares Jackson trying to set up a screen. It's just not there. And it'll be 3rd and 13. Chester Taylor was the intended target. I would say the person who was the most up front about that was Kurt Warner. And when you talk to him about the talent that Warner has around him, he's a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won it once. He's a 2-time league MVP. He knows what they have. He also knows what they don't have. And this Arizona team has a pretty fragile psyche for a team that just wrapped up a division title.
Yeah, and for a team that was looking to get better over these next 3 weeks. I mean, if you just look at this game so far, I mean, they've taken a step backwards.
Here is Taylor. And Chester is dragged down after a gain of 3, and the field goal unit will come on for the Vikings, and that means Ryan Longwell will attempt his first. 26 of 30 on the year, and one of the better kickers in the NFL. 34-yard try. Picked up by Roderick Hood, winning the foot race. Arizona is back in this game. Cromartie, the rookie, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, got in there and blocked it. And it is a 2-score game here in Arizona.
Well, Cromartie had the big interception last week for the touchdown, and now he just gets right around Dugan. He's not able to get a hand on him. You'd like to get that right arm extended, throw him off course, but Cromartie with the block, and then Hood getting a good bounce right up into his arms, and once he gets it, nobody's going to catch him.
Especially not Chris Kluwe, the punter.
Especially not Chris Kluwe.
It is a 14-point game. In a blink, what a turnaround. Up by 21, trying to make it 24. And Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie gets in there, blocks it. Roderick Hood takes care of the rest. In a blink, it's a 14-point game. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie blocked it. Roderick Hood took it in 68 yards. And for a Cardinal team that beat Dallas here at home, block punt for a touchdown, they get a big special teams effort. 7 points. It's a 14-point game, and Hicks takes a knee. First one since '95, a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. 211 games ago.
You're going to see the overload on the right side, and it puts Dugan in a bind. He's got to pick a guy, but he gets no chip whatsoever on Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, and that's why he's able to then get the block. I tell you, special teams in this game has had a real presence on both sides.
So now back on the field is the Viking offense, with Tavares Jackson in the middle of all the action. Hands off. Adrian Peterson takes it out to the 25. Gain of 5. You know, when you think about the history, the short history for Tavares Jackson, the Vikings traded up to get him in the second round back in '06. He finished the season last year, but then during the offseason there was that whole issue with the Vikings maybe tampering, having an interest in Brett Favre. They benched Tavares Jackson after 2 games this year. They stick with Gus Frerotte, who's not the future with the Vikings. And yet here is Tavares Jackson, who's played a good game here on the road. Underneath, he hits Tahi, the fullback. And Tahi is just short of first down yardage.
Yeah, I think the big question that the Vikings have with Tavares Jackson is, you get into a game like this and you're only having to throw the ball 15 times up to this point. because they're running the ball so effectively, as they do most every week. And because they run the ball so well, they should be getting more out of their passing game. I mean, when they're constantly a defense having to bring an 8th guy up into the box, and you have one-on-one on the outside, and you have a guy like Bernard Berrian and some of these other wide receivers, you got to be able to make bigger plays in the passing game. And I think that's the question mark right now with Tavares Jackson.
Tavares keeps it and tries to push the pile forward to the 30. Going to be marked right at the 30, and it's enough for a first down.
And I say that, Joe, knowing that Tavares has gotten the ball down the field today. He had the big touchdown there to Bernard Berrian, but it's what happens when they're not able to run the football. That's the point that I'm making, is how well can he sit in the pocket and throw the football when you don't have much of a running game to support that.
Vikings today 4 for 4 on 3rd and 1 and 10 of 13 overall on 3rd down. There's Gus Frerotte with a fractured transverse process in his low back and a lot of pain as the handoff is to Peterson, who's finally dragged to the ground by Adrian Wilson. A gain of 9.
Yeah, I tell you, you look at this and you say, well, Arizona is just not doing a very good job of tackling, and I would agree with that. But they've done a pretty good job of tackling for the most part this year. And this is one of those special kind of backs that just makes people look really bad. And you look at what Arizona has done on the year in run defense. They came into this game 12th in the NFL, but they were 8th in the NFL in terms of yards per carry average. That's going to go up after this game.
Over a 2-to-1 ratio in ball control in favor of the Minnesota Vikings is on 2nd and 1, a 2-yard run by Adrian Peterson for another Viking first down.
But right now, I mean, clearly, everyone knows what Minnesota's going to do. And with that special teams block and the touchdown to be able to cut this game to 14 points, Minnesota's trying to take as much time as they can off the clock, like they did on that previous possession. A lot of running plays with Peterson getting down the field and then the blocked field goal. But at some point, Arizona's got to be able to step up and make a stand.
Adrian's trying to do it with an untied right shoe. Adrian Wilson makes a play. Peterson loses 1, his 2nd negative carry on the day. Second down and 11 with under a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Guess it doesn't matter if his shoe's tied. Yeah, it does.
I'm not sure it does.
Maybe not. I thought he was going to go down and tie it. He's not. 2nd and 11. A little pump fake with his shoulders. What a throw. Bobby Wade. What a day for Tavares Jackson. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Well, what did Brad Childress tell us the other night? He says we can get a double move on Roderick Hood. And great shoulder fake there by Tavares Jackson. I mean, a really nice job in the pocket of being able to get the corner to bite. And Bobby Wade runs right by him. Bobby Wade, not a guy who's known for his speed, more of a possession guy, and that's probably what had as much to do with it as anything. That and the shoulder fake by Tavares Jackson, and then the safety just can't get over the top to make the play. Adrian Wilson there trying to get there to help. Really good execution.
And a career high 4 touchdown passes in this game by Tavares Jackson. So Arizona gets the blocked field goal for the touchdown, and then Tavares Jackson, the 3rd-year pro out of Alabama State, turns around and takes the Vikings down the field and connects with Bobby Wade for an important touchdown in this game.
Yeah, look here. There's the fake there in the corner out here. Roderick Hood was looking at that. He was cluing into the quarterback, Tavares Jackson. That's what got him to bite. And then Adrian Wilson not able to get over the top there to make the play. And as this game has gone along, they haven't had to rely a lot on Tavares Jackson because they've run the ball so well. But the few times that they have thrown it, he has actually thrown the ball very well, and you can kind of see his confidence growing as this game has gone along.
Absolutely. And now you think, as you go through the rest of this season, I mean, this is a league that week to week things change dramatically. But for Tavares Jackson, he has proven himself here today, and there's no doubt in my mind who will get the nod next week, the home game against Atlanta, and maybe he's the guy for the rest of the season for Brad Childress in this Viking offense.
Yeah, and that's Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, and like I said last week, I thought he did a good job of setting Tavares Jackson up for success, and he's done it again in this game.
Here is J.J. Arrington shaking a tackle and getting it out to the 24. Hussein Abdullah on the tackle, 10 seconds left in the quarter, and next week a battle in the NFC East late in the day here on Fox. The Washington Redskins hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. The Redskins suffering a loss today at Cincinnati. The Eagles play tomorrow night against Cleveland, and the Eagles are right in the thick of the race for a playoff spot in the NFC. That's at 4 Eastern next Sunday.
Yeah, the Eagles are, and we thought that the Redskins would be, but after that loss today and going to 7-7, they're virtually eliminated based on the other teams that are ahead of them.
Last one to do it, Dante Culpepper. The Vikings had 4 touchdown passes in a game 69 games ago for Minnesota. Here's Hightower on a draw out to the 29. Lieber on the stop, and that's the end of the third quarter. We go to the final period here in Arizona. Big day for this Vikings offense. Adrian Peterson and Tavares Jackson up by 21. Been a big play kind of day. 5 of the 7 touchdowns that have scored in this game have been over 40 yards long. The Vikings have 3 of them. Arizona with 2. Wade just had one of 59 yards. 2nd down and 5 for Arizona. And the pass caught by Fitzgerald, who's been quiet. He stays on his feet, gets to the Minnesota 48.
I'll tell you, Joe, go back to that last drive by Minnesota. I mean, that was big. And when you talk about the touchdown that Arizona got to cut that game to cut the game to 14 points, and then for Minnesota offensively to answer that, and for Tavares Jackson to do the things that he was able to do in that drive to get the touchdown, I thought that was a real statement that they made on that last drive.
It was only the 2nd catch of the day by Fitzgerald, and this one sneaks in somehow to Breston. Urban was in the area as well, a gain of 5. Opening minute of the 4th quarter, 21-point game, and Arizona needs a quick strike. Underneath, it's tipped by Greenway. We've said his name all day. Had a terrific effort here this afternoon. It's 3rd and 5.
You know, and he's been terrific pretty much all season long, and a guy who got hurt his rookie year and missed his entire rookie season, came back last year, had a good year, and then a great year this year. And not a lot of people, I don't think, know that much about him. But I think, as this team continues to have success, he's going to be one of those linebackers, one of those defensive players in this league that becomes a household name.
5 tackles for Greenway in this game, 3 passes defended. Anquan Boldin looking for some blocks. He gets to the 40, and it'll be 4th down. The Cardinals, I would imagine, would go for it. Why not? Down 21, 4th quarter, 4th and 2. And the offense for Arizona will stay on the field. Jared Allen doesn't realize he's on the road.
Well, that just tells you how many Viking fans are here when he is on the road.
Play clock is at 1. They just get it away, but there's a timeout called for by the bench.
Prior to the snap, timeout, Arizona.
Sideline called it. Timeout, Arizona. 4th and 2 for the Cardinals when we come back. 4th down and 2 for the Cardinals, down by 21 at the Minnesota 40. Warner throws underneath. What a throw and catch. Anquan Boldin, 6 yards and a first down to keep hope alive for the Cardinals.
Yeah, you called it, Joe. I mean, this was a perfectly thrown pass just out front of Anquan Boldin, because Sharper was undercutting that thing, and if that ball had been underthrown at all, it was going to be a touchdown the other direction.
Mentioned earlier, Sharper is the active leader in career interceptions. He had one sized up there. Good throw by Warner, who drops it off here for Arrington. And a penalty flag is down, as is Jared Allen. Penalty flag back at the 40. And Jared Allen gets up and limps off. He's got the bad left knee, playing with a brace on it. The bad right shoulder.
Holding. Offense number 75. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So that'll make it 1st and 20. Levi Brown is guilty.
Yeah, right here, the right tackle. And yeah. And then Jared Allen coming back the other way on Gandy, and it's at the end of that he gets rolled up. Tell by looking at that, and I'll tell you, Jared Allen is about as tough as they come. You were talking about the injuries that he's battling through, and each week you think that, well, maybe he won't show up and won't be able to play this week, but invariably he does.
Timeout on the field. Arizona will spend their second. Kurt Warner trying to get them to reset the play clock. They do not get their wish, so they'll take their timeout. Left with only one. 1st and 20. First down and 20 for the Cardinals. They have only one timeout, which is not good when you're in the 4th quarter and down by 21. That great combo of Fitzgerald and Boldin, 66 yards, 100 shy of their game average between the two of them. Pressure underneath. Arrington making moves and dropped at the 35. Play was made by Madieu Williams. Gain of 8. Jared Allen comes back in. 2nd down and 12. Throws, hits Fitzgerald, and a good open field tackle made by Griffin. A gain of just 3. 3rd down coming up.
I'll tell you, this group has really done a good job. Minnesota secondary, that is, and covering these receivers up for Arizona. Not an easy task, something that very few teams have been able to do a very good job of. And I do think that when you look at Minnesota defensively and individually with those players, they've got good players back there. It's just more teams throw against them because they're so good against the run.
3rd down and 9. Warner steps up and throws, and a catch by Breston. Hung on after the hit by Lieber, and now a flag comes in, maybe on that hit. Ben Lieber delivered the blow. And the officials get together after one of them threw the flag. Breston really mistimed his jump as he had to wait for that ball to get to him.
Yeah, it looked like it kind of floated on Kurt a little bit.
There's no foul for unnecessary roughness. The contact was to the shoulder of the receiver. 1st down.
So one official overrules the other, and it's 1st down Arizona. No foul at the end of it. Oh.
He came in with his shoulder, and that was the right decision by the officials of picking up that flag. A little bit like the Ryan Clark hit a couple of weeks ago on Wes Welker. Very similar.
Dangerous nonetheless. Warner stops. Penalty flag, and the pass incomplete. Pressure on the play by Ray Edwards, and a flag is down.
Holding. Offense number 74. A 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
They get left guard Reggie Wells.
You see Kurt, he's getting a little frustrated. There's the hold there by Reggie Wells, and he got his own little horse collar there. But you can see Kurt Warner at the end of that play just has been a frustrating afternoon for him and trying to find receivers. And like I said, Minnesota for the most part has done a very good job covering them up.
1st and 20. Arrington. Penalty flag again. And Gandy gets up with his palms to the sky saying, "What did I do?"
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 93. Contact to the head of the quarterback. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Gandy thought the foul was against him. Instead, it's Kevin Williams with a hit to the head of Kurt Warner.
Well, Kevin Williams is right here in the middle. And when he comes in, he gets his hand, it looked like on his face mask. And, you know, we've talked about it a lot. And everybody has that anything that gets near the helmet or the headgear there of the quarterback, they're going to call it, no matter how unintentional it may appear.
So now 1st and goal. From the 9, Warner. Hightower out of the backfield, nowhere to go. And a good play by Benny Sapp. He had help from Griffin. No gain on the play. Second and goal from the 9.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens if Arizona is unable to get a touchdown on this possession. You know what they then decide to do with Kurt. My guess is that they would get him out and try to keep him as healthy as they can, because this team's going nowhere if he's not healthy.
Warner wasn't ready for it. Somehow caught the snap, and now down he goes as Jared Allen gets another. And Warner was looking off to the side when that snap hit him right in the chest.
Well, let's see if Hightower gives any help, which he does not. So Mike Gandy one-on-one without any help. And we see this time after time, and it's like playing Russian roulette. He wasn't even expecting the snap when it came, but that had nothing to do with it. You know, the ball was snapped. Mike Gandy's just not able, and few are. I mean, that's the reason Jared Allen led the league last year in sacks.
He's got 13.5 this year. That one's tipped. Hightower's got a long way to go. And he barely gets a yard. Ray Edwards got his hand on that pass. It's 4th and goal. And after setting up 1st and goal, the Cardinals have done nothing but go backward.
I just wonder what this game's going to mean overall to Arizona. I mean, this is a demoralizing performance on their part, and then next week going on the road to New England that has a lot to play for and a good football team. Has been through a lot, and you know, we talked a little bit about it, Joe. A team that you want to see get better, or they want to see get better. You know, where are they going to be 3 weeks from now?
From the 15, it's 4th and goal. A little pump fake, and the pass. It's not intercepted, doesn't matter. It's right through the hands of Griffin. But the Vikings, instead of getting a turnover, they get it on downs. Larry Fitzgerald, the intended receiver, and the Vikings take over up 21. He is on Mount Rushmore. He's going to have to do it for a lot of years if he wants to join that list. You see Barry Sanders on there, obviously Walter Payton, and then your teammate, the guy you referred to earlier, the guy who can dance, Emmitt Smith, who's the all-time leader in rushing yardage with over 18,000.
It might be a little early for Adrian Peterson to be on Mount Rushmore there. There's a lot of good backs that were left off that deal.
Frustration on the part of Kurt Warner. A lot of the Viking fans are left, and they're having fun. Here's Adrian Peterson, and another negative carry, this time a loss of 3. G.K. O'Keefer was the first one there for the Cardinals. You know, we saw Kurt Warner over on the sideline, and maybe it's worth the discussion. What are you thinking if you're Matt Leinart? I mean, he was the pick in the first round, 10th overall by the last regime, and now he's standing there, and the desire by this franchise, and it seems to be the desire by Kurt Warner, is to sign and come back at least through next year.
And who would have thought in 06 that the next time the Cardinals had this success and won their division, that Matt Leinart wouldn't be the guy quarterbacking the team.
Here is Peterson. He gains 2.
And very similar to what's happened in Tennessee. You know, that Vince Young's not the guy quarterbacking that team either. And both taken in that same draft. And, you know, I don't know what the future is for Matt Leinart. And, you know, Kurt's obviously, or you say obviously, I would suspect that he'll be signed and come back next year. But where does that leave Matt Leinart? And does he have a future here in Arizona? I don't know.
Warner is not committed personally to continuing his career past 2008. It seems like he wants to play, but not saying that straight out. Cardinals, it would appear, would do well to bring him back. Underneath, and the pass incomplete for Chester Taylor, and it's quick 3 and out. This Minnesota Vikings offense. Just thinking, you know, the Chiefs came in. They traded away Jared Allen, who has a sack today and has 13.5 on the year. The Chiefs as a team had 6 sacks coming into today's game against San Diego. They had 3 today. Meanwhile, their former stud at defensive end, Jared Allen, has 13.5, which is the most by a Viking defensive player since John Randall had 15.5 in '97. Good block for Breston, and just nowhere to go. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie threw the block, and Breston nothing on the return. Greenway on the tackle. Arizona offense back to the field, down 21. Five rushing attempts by the Cardinals offense today, which would be an NFL record for the fewest in a game. Right now that record is 6. It's been done by this Cardinal organization twice. Once as the Chicago Cardinals, and the latest time in '06 by the Arizona Cardinals against Minnesota, which has been the best run defensive unit in the league for 3 years now. Fitzgerald makes the catch, and the former Minnesota Vikings ball boy is out to the 40-yard line. He grew up in Minnesota, was a ball boy for the organization when Denny Green was the head coach there. He has been held relatively quiet in this game. 2nd and 5. And the pass caught by Urban out to the 49. There's Larry Fitzgerald as a ball boy with the Vikings. Who knew the greatness that was there, and what kind of a career he would put together. Youngest receiver ever to get to 400 receptions in his career.
Gives you an idea as to how long he's been working on that hair.
Here is a pass in the direction of Breston, and a penalty flag flies. Tell you what, they better be careful with Kurt Warner, who's had a lot of hits. You referenced this earlier. They're playing with a little fire here because he's been under a lot of heat here today.
Yeah, I'm not real sure why they've got him in the game still at this point.
Defense number 21. 5-yard penalty and a first down.
You know, here's the end of that play. He gets hit low, and then Jared Allen on top of him. And, you know, yeah, can they get back in? Yeah, you know, a lot of things have to happen, but based on what we've seen, that's not going to happen. And so, you know, the only thing I could see is, well, you want to try to give this offense an opportunity to feel good about themselves here at the end of the game. You know, Kurt's a veteran quarterback. I don't think this is going to shatter any confidence that he has.
Under 5 to play. Warner gets hit again, and the pass is underthrown for Fitzgerald. Ray Edwards was in there, and he wasn't alone.
He's gotten hit virtually on every time he's dropped back and thrown the ball, which, as we've seen, has been pretty much every single offensive snap. And I mean, that's a lot of wear and tear. You know, a guy his age doesn't just bounce back and from that and feel great then the next week. I'm really surprised by this. I think this is a very poor decision by this staff, leaving him out there.
And down he goes again. Another for Jared Allen. And a penalty flag comes in at the very end of the play. Warner's gimping around the field. I mean, they got to get him out of the game. Jared Allen may get him out of the game the way he's coming after him.
After the play was over, personal foul. Number 76, offense. A blow to the head of a defender. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Latui. So 2 sacks for Jared Allen, and on the year 14 and a half.
Yeah, again, I mean, they're just not giving these tackles any help, so it's pretty easy. Pretty easy stuff for Jared Allen to be able to work Gandy up the field and come underneath it. And Jared Allen likes that little calf rope move at the end of the sack. He's going to need more rope.
He's got 2 sacks, 3 tackles. And Kurt Warner stays in. 3rd and 28. What do you think they're going to do? Quick throw. Get it out of Warner's hands. Gets it to J.J. Arrington. And he goes backward. Antoine Winfield's had a great day. A loss of 4. And look at that look on the face of Kurt Warner going to the sideline. He is frustrated and worn out, battered and bruised. Fourth and 32. Berrien waiting for the punt. Fair catch, hauled in by Bernard.
Hey, you were talking about Fitzgerald and him being a ball boy for the Vikings. That's a job you know fairly well, don't you?
Oh God. Huh? St. Louis Football Cardinals. Yep, back in
looky there,
Charleston, Illinois. All I see when I look at that picture is hair. I had some.
I see innocence, and I don't know where that went.
Now that's a low blow. That is a low blow. That was hard work.
There's your next superstar broadcaster right there.
It might be. That's where you realize the selfishness of NFL players. And the way that they have no regard for anybody else, just like I'm sure you were hard on ball boys from the Dallas Cowboys.
You know who our ball boy was for several years, actually, was Jeremy Bates. He was Jim Bates, the coach. His son, Jeremy Bates, who now is the offensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos and doing a great job. But yeah, he was about 12 years old retrieving balls for us back in training camp.
So there you go. You can go 3 ways. You can
if you want to make it in life, then you want to be a ball boy for an NFL team.
Clearly, that's the conclusion one should draw from that. 2nd and 9. Bernard Berrien on a reverse. And he gets twisted up. And is able to get back up. I can just imagine how you were to young Jeremy Bates as the ball boy way back when.
What's the most important thing to being a good ball boy?
Timeliness. Cleanliness next to godliness. Mark Allmeyer was kind of the main guy in charge back then for the St. Louis Football Cardinals, and he came out here with the Arizona Cardinals, and he's still down there doing his job.
How'd you know when you had a good day?
I could lay my head on the pillow at the end of every day and know that I gave it all I had. And I think no matter what you do in life, I think that's something you always strive for.
There's a lot of young boys out there taking notice.
Always give more than 24%. Always. By the way, the other guy in the picture was Kevin O'Mell, who's now a high-stakes agent in the NFL game, and he is Ben Patrick, the tight end of the Arizona Cardinals agent. So there's another way you can go after being a ball boy.
I mean, we laugh about it, but isn't that great, though, that Larry Fitzgerald was a ball boy for the Vikings, and then to see him go on and do the things that he's doing, and I would imagine that was a dream of his for a long time, and no one would have thought that here this young guy is, and now he's one of the best wide receivers in the game today.
And we thank Larry Sr. for providing the pictures to us. Junior still has a house in the Twin Cities area as Breaston makes the catch on the run. And a good return by Steve Breaston inside Minnesota territory with 2:20 left. 26-yard return tonight on Fox. Coming up next, King of the Hill. And then at 7:30 Eastern, it's King of the Hill. Followed by The Simpsons. And then, Troy, King of the Hill. At 9 Eastern.
In case you missed the first two.
9 Eastern, Family Guy. And at 9:30 Eastern, American Dad. There's not one human that you will see on Fox after we're finished. Matt Leinart finally gets into the game. And I know you are as impressed with the type of young men Anquan Boldin are and Larry Fitzgerald are as much as you are with how good they are on a football field. As Hightower gets it, that's the 6th rushing attempt, so they won't set a new record. And a gain of 2.
Well, you're right. I mean, so many times we find ourselves, and we're guilty of it as well, but we find ourselves talking about all the players with a lot of baggage, and we don't celebrate the players that go about doing it the right way, and those two guys certainly do.
There is a lot of baggage in Dallas right now. 2-minute warning. Big day for the Vikings. They stay a game out in front of Chicago. And why is that important? Well, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker should they end with the same record. Right now, Minnesota will go to 9-5 at the end of the day. Chicago's 8-6. Leinart hits Hightower. And Tim has enough for a first down. Chicago is at home against Green Bay, and the Packers have hit the skids here of late. Then at Houston. So at home against Green Bay, at Houston, while Minnesota is at home against Atlanta and at home against the Giants. So it doesn't get any easier for the Vikings after today.
Yeah, no, they felt they got into playoff mode a couple of weeks ago.
On first down, handoff to Hightower. Don't even get to tie the rushing record for fewest in a game. McCauley on the tackle. Steve Horn is our editorial consultant. He got on the phone today with Charlie Trippi, who still lives down in Georgia, goes to Georgia collegiate football games, and he was the guy who was the MVP, had 206 all-purpose yards when the Chicago Cardinals won the NFL championship title game at Comiskey Park against Philadelphia. Number 62 still lives down in Athens, Georgia, turns 86 today. Leinart throws and incomplete. Led by the famed Dream backfield, featuring All-American Charlie Trippi, signed by the owner Charles Bidwell for the unheard of sum of $100 grand. The win at Comiskey Park on an icy day, 1947, and Charlie Bidwell never saw that championship as he passed away that April. Charlie Trippi told Steve that was a game that featured a lot of big plays, and Trippi is known for wearing tennis shoes in the icy conditions in Chicago that day.
Well, and happy birthday to Charlie.
Absolutely. 3rd down and 2. Play action from Leinart, and the pass is incomplete for Steven Spock. You and I will next be in Landover for that game between the Redskins and the Eagles. We could certainly talk for one more quick second about the playoff picture in the NFC with the Giants out in front at 11-2, Carolina 11-3. What a big game tonight in Dallas, Giants and Cowboys.
Well, it's big in a lot of ways. Certainly big for the Cowboys, but as we said a little bit earlier, big for the Giants because they're still fighting for home field advantage throughout. And I really think the Giants are going to bounce back tonight and play very well.
Pass underneath is caught by Hightower. That's good enough for a first down, but how excited are the Cardinals about running another play? Looks like they're going to try one more. Brad Childress should be thrilled with the way his team came out here and played. In his third year, this is one of his most important wins, and he got it with a lot of help from his big back, Adrian Peterson, and Troy. A really good game here by Tavares Jackson.
Yeah, he really, he got to help, obviously, from his running game and Adrian Peterson and the job that they did there. But Tavares Jackson, for the limited number of throws that he had, he made the most of them and really had a heck of a game.
Just 11 completions for Tavares Jackson, but 4 went for touchdowns in a 35-14 win. More to come. Back after this.